Do you like Pop-Tarts? Even if you don't like Pop-Tarts, this episode is for you. We have the flexible dieting lifestyle himself, Zach, in the house in today's episode. Flexible dieting has taken the nutritional world by storm in the last 5 years, but many people don't perceive correctly what it's all about. Is it just about eating Pop-Tarts and staring at donuts and thinking sexual thoughts, or is there a lot more to it? We take a look at this. We speak to Zach, who has beautiful hair. If you enjoy this podcast and you think to yourself, how can we support y'all for doing this work? Make sure to leave a rating and review on iTunes. It helps us out as well. If you're on that YouTube, a like and a comment would be much appreciated. Now let's find out what the best flavor of Pop-Tart is. Spoiler alert, it's chocolate. Spoiler alert, I don't even know if that's a fucking flavor. Let's get into this. Welcome to the Mama's Boys podcast. I'm your host, Omar Yusof. My fellow host is Silent Mike, also known as Mike Farr. We have merchandise available for Mama's Boys podcast at mamasboyspodcast.com, as well as you can sign up for our Patreon, where we give exclusive bonus episodes and other content on there. You can find that as well on mamasboyspodcast.com. So,
What, dude?
we went out last night, and Mike was just tearing it up on the dance floor. But you know how sometimes you go out and you don't even want to think about boys, you just want to dance?
Yeah.
We had that happen, and Mike's phone died though. And so we were fearing for our lives, just being three hot guy babes in a new city.
No Uber, no nothing.
No Uber. We would have to rely on just people being friendly, and made all of us scared. So
That was the end of your story.
yeah, that's it. No, it didn't go anywhere. It peaked at you dancing.
Are we recording right
No,
now?
I don't know.
We've already been recording.
Oh,
For about 5 minutes.
I was. I'm just like trying to take it all in right now.
I thought Omar was going to go somewhere with that and tie it into an Austin question.
I normally have epic stories, and
Yeah.
in fact, the last podcast got derailed because I just started going in
that was
hard.
in
Was it
too
Tito?
No, it was
Oh
beyond.
no, Tito's beautiful though, but please don't mention Tito. It's going to derail my train of thought.
I got you.
That was a watermelon mixed with a chihuahua that was my son, and I didn't even know that I had a son. You know when you look into the eyes of I'm going to say creature because normally it's a human, but a creature, you're like, this is mine.
No,
That's how I felt with Tito.
I don't claim property on
No,
other
he was
souls,
going to call me. He called me Papa with his eyes.
I don't know, dude.
Listen. He's half watermelon. I'm full watermelon.
Look, let's start here. Best food in Austin.
I mean,
The
everybody-
pressure's on you.
I know.
Yeah.
Everybody, and see, this is an interesting thing for me because I am, in the sense of what I do for a living, is I recreate things that, quote unquote, would not fit very well into an everyday diet to where you can eat them every single day.
Yeah.
So whenever I go to any restaurant, I'm like I could have done this. I could have done that. It would have cost me.
Oh, with the calories too.
Oh, with everything.
Do you just see numbers now, Zach, when you look at food? It's like the matrix. It's like just green.
We see a brisket and ribs, and he sees a beautiful mind.
Just numbers everywhere. I mean, I see, okay, I could have done this. I can improve this. I look for best case scenario. I look for the best of both worlds. So in the sense of how can I get something that tastes amazing and fits your macros and checks off the box of health.
Yeah.
So when I can it's three things. So when I can do that, that's a win. And then when I can do that in a way that somebody that has no culinary background can do it on their own, that's freedom.
Yeah.
That's freedom. And so that's what motivates me. That's why whenever I go out, I see that as a missed opportunity for me to have learned something new that I could apply to my audience.
That makes sense.
Sure.
And
Market research.
it really is R&D every single day.
Now, let me ask you a serious question here, Zach. How do you feel about the fact that you started the podcast with us? We're bumping, you're revealing all the hidden insights, how you run your business, and our man Connor just goes into the washroom and take a shit because he's done this. I mean, you should take that as a compliment, in my opinion, because
You talk shit on Connor in every episode.
Connor's my favorite, but we were bumping to some deep topics. I forget with who, and he literally fell asleep on the couch.
I think it was with Kyle.
We were going in. Well, yeah, Kyle was
Opening our third mind and our chakras. And
Yeah, he was explaining how at Burning Man, there's like this tent, and the tent is like a tent of forgiveness where you go inside and people write different memories, people that they lost, different tokens of things that mean a lot of different things to those people. So, someone may have been molested and they want to write, I forgive that person. And then eventually that tent or temple is burnt at the end of Burning Man. Very powerful, and he's getting very emotional. And then I just hear in the faint distance, just like kind of like damn, we're that boring. But that's okay. I'm in it, Zach. So you preface by saying, before you make recommendations, this is how you see the world.
Yes.
With that being said, McDonald's is still the truth.
I would say in Austin, the food culture here is unreal. It's if you want to log into MyFitnessPal and be able to find a chain that you can, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
If you want to find the good food, it's going to be things that you'd go there, and it's like a mom and pop shop are very like, you don't see any other places. So food trucks are insane, but taco culture here is king. That's what everybody knows.
Really?
The taco truck, and I guess, is there another food truck, I guess,
Yeah.
because they're not all taco trucks,
Yeah.
right? They're food trucks. It's cool because they're random.
Yeah.
Like we
yeah.
have some in Sac, and they'll drive around like 6 together, and they're like, all right, we'll be in front of the Capitol on Thursday, and then we'll be by the arena on Friday or whatever. But here, like, there's just one at the end of the street, and then you go like 3 blocks, there's another one. And then we walked by one where there's like 4 of them.
Yeah.
Like that's super cool.
Well, I don't know the actual legality and like where they can park, what they can do, but it seems like they have free reign. It's like a free market to where first come, first serve. And if you see it, it's kind of like when you're fishing. Like if it's not biting there, you can go to another spot. Like
that is cool.
That would be a cool business.
It seems like it. So I personally don't. I mean, I might have Connor fact check me on this, but I honestly have no clue.
Yeah,
but that's how it seems, because most places you see the same trucks everywhere, but here it seems like they can kind of go and fish wherever they want.
Best tacos then. I think what did we do?
We
Connor?
haven't even had tacos.
We did
yet
torchies.
here.
Maybe we'll do that tonight. I think we did torchies, and then we did velvet taco.
Yeah, velvet.
That sounds sexy. No, that sounds like it could be not a restaurant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, torchy is way better than velvet.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
So is there a difference in vibe? Because velvet, I think one thing. Torchies, I think like a family-run business.
Yeah. I don't know. I just see. I mean, velvet is cool, but like Torchies is just good. I mean, they have a lot more cool combinations as well.
Yeah, a little bit of modern twist.
Yeah, definitely. I love creativity, so I can definitely say that I can choose Torchies over.
Is there somewhere better in Torchies?
Not that I know of. I mean, they're the mecca here.
Yeah.
Like that's what everybody kind of knows. Like, hey, we're going to Torchies.
Yeah, it's like you're in and out. Obviously taco style, but it's like it's a chain, but it's a local chain.
Yeah. Now, if you were to start a food truck, empire business, what would be your angle?
Maybe funded by Mama's Boys, and maybe Connor's driving in the front. He's got a really cool hat on.
Personality.
Dress him up like a cowboy.
Yeah. Well, save a horse, ride a cowboy would be the shirt that he'd be wearing.
Ride a horse. That would be the name, because it's actually real, Ride a horse food trucks.
Connor, man, they get after you a lot, huh?
No, it's like your favorite younger brother they didn't ask for.
It's actually bullying, because he can't respond. He's got no microphone, so it's pure bullying.
Yeah. Well, that's like I said, it's like you're the only kid and you're like, you're having a great time. And then all of a sudden your parents bring home someone else. You're like, who the fuck is this? That's Connor. But he's laughing for the record off screen. No, have you ever thought about that? Obviously, that's not what you'd endeavor to do, but we like thinking of fun side projects.
Absolutely. I mean, for me personally, creativity is the variable. So if you think of it as a business, what's more profitable as a business? Opening a food truck, having actual inventory, having a truck, having to worry about supplies coming in, coming out, people working the food truck. I mean, there's a lot of stress. And then whenever you run the numbers, you're like, it becomes ROI positive when you have 15, 20 trucks all around. And then you start to, once you multiply to like 50, like that's when it becomes super ROI positive. Or can I focus my time on how do I push the boundaries with recipes to make them easier to make, using higher and higher quality ingredients, better macronutrient profile, and be able to expand that across all different types of macros. If somebody has 400 grams of carbs, 600 grams of carbs, 200 grams of carbs, 100, and or fat preferences, and thinking of it that way, like what's the best use of my time?
Yeah.
And so and my resources. And so now as a company, like we've spent our money allowing me just to be creative all damn day.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like I can just wake up and obviously I have things I got to do. I got to write. But it's all creative based. There's no more doing shit that I don't want to do. And that's been cool. So for me, if I wanted to open a food truck, which is like, there's so much demand for it. We've been offered a lot of money to do it. It'll be more pop-ups. I can say that we're gonna be doing that. We're gonna be collabing with a lot of food trucks around the country.
Oh, so it's already gonna happen. So you don't want to reveal your.
I don't care. I'll reveal anything. But I think if we did it, it would be based around really unique, cool foods. Yeah. But also it would be macronutrient based. Like you would go there and you'd understand what the macros are with what you have.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And then you're able to customize and have. I hate going to a place and saying, "Oh, but I want a burger, but this is only how the burger is made." No, but like, what if I want to throw an egg on it? What if I want to like mess with the macronutrient profile? And like, how can I change that? And so if I had a food truck, it would be based around, we'd probably have an app that would be able to just plug and play.
Just like, really hypothetical stuff that's totally not already in the works.
No, but it would be cool. Like that's something we definitely want to, in the 3 to 5 year plan, have a pop-up small restaurant. We want to have food trucks. Like it would be cool. And obviously as a business, it's very beneficial if we want to help that bottom line and we're not looking to make a ton of money off of that.
No.
And we're using it for branding.
Sure, passion project.
Yeah, that becomes like, oh wow, we're not paying as much in taxes because we're opening these things and they become write-offs for us. So it's just another way to build the brand. And when you see companies doing this, I don't think when you open a gym, for example, you're not doing it to make money. You're doing it really because you love it.
Yeah.
You're building brand, and you better try and make a lot more money doing something else if you want to make more money.
But that stuff seems so simple to maybe the three of us because we're all in a similar world, right? We have our hands in a couple cookie jars, but majority of our stuff's obviously online, content based, and then businesses underneath. But like to the world, until I was probably 23 and started diving into any kind of e-com or marketing or anything, like some of it, I think 90% of the world doesn't get that.
They don't.
That it's business or marketing or like little things like even the dumbest thing, 22-year-old Mike sees it, overstock sale or something. I'm like, oh my God, how did they get overstock? I'm going to go get these deals on these sneakers. But like, oh, bitch, you tricked me. You didn't have an overstock. You want to get rid. This is your shit shoe. Yeah. Like, this is your shitty shoe you're trying to get rid of.
They have new inventory coming in. They got to move.
But I still think adults don't know. And maybe I'm thinking the world's too naive, but I don't think they know.
No, I mean it's well. Think of how I don't know how Canada is, but our public school system.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
We don't have one of those.
Yeah.
Who's saying how shitty ours is?
Yeah,
and yours is pretty good.
It's bad. Yeah. It's really bad. And when you look at the history of, and I'm fascinated by like human psychology, like why we do what we do, and when you look back into why the public school system was created,
it's German for people being subservient.
Oh, yeah. So in 1918, there was this huge, well, that's when the law was passed, but in the late 1800s, early 1900s, there was an epidemic of child labor. So young kids were being employed to work in these factories. So the top 50 companies all were factory based. And so the government goes to these companies like, hey, like you need to stop employing all these kids. And they're like, why? You can't stop us. It's a lot cheaper for us. And if we have to employ these 18 and ups, then we're going to go out of business. So what they did was they're like, okay, what if we made a law that made these children go to school, and whenever they got out of school at 18, they were amazing workers. And we still have that same system today.
It's like technically illegal not to go to school, yeah?
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird.
And we're moving towards getting away from that because we're not teaching kids to think. We're teaching the kids how to
to obey.
Memorize.
Yeah, when you think about it, like you're like, oh, like you're going to school today, like all your friends are going to be there, and then like you're sitting in class, you're like, hey, what's up, man? And then she's just like, stop talking to your friend. You're like, what the hell? And then you're like looking off, and like you're thinking of something cool, and then you're like, pay attention, and then like you ask a question, and they're like, stop asking questions like that, and so like you're taught
They
to
condition you.
Yes.
No.
Yeah,
And
no social skills, no movement skills, no body awareness, plus no like applicable shit.
Nothing.
Right? You start talking like fucking taxes or
bro.
fucking whatever. Like that's a harsh
Things
reality.
they could actually-
Or even like even like basic marketing. Like, hey, that's not overstock, Mike. You fucking idiot. Don't be fooled anymore. You know, like, but really though, like taxes or shit. Like, God forbid someone passes away in your life. Like, the filing
The
some of
process
that
of
whole
grieving. Oh, yeah.
no, not
Oh,
like
yeah,
grieving.
yeah.
Sure, emotional stuff would be great too. But I
Even
even mean like,
financial, yeah.
oh, fuck,
Oh, for sure,
dude,
Mike.
how
Yeah.
many fucking papers you got to go through on like dog shit like that? Like, god damn, I wish I would have learned something.
Why you sounding so Italian right now? Like for the last do you even how you have the microphone and stuff? When you start saying that?
You told me we're
That's
having
great.
pizza for dinner. So
Oh, that's
I
true.
was just- I've been
It's beautiful. I liked it though. I've
been drooling
I
pepperoni
was
ever
sitting
since.
on the couch with you. Well, it's like, this is fucked up stuff. I agree.
fuck,
Yeah.
bow, hey, dude.
You know what I was gonna say is that is absolutely true. I would say it's similar in Canada, how it's done. Except I did have an unfortunate positive in my life, and that was my mom, who I was told, like my report card would say, like whatever, blah blah blah. Here are the grades. It's like needs improvement when it comes to listening to the teacher and not talking in class. And I remember my mom went in there, and there's just one teacher. Like it's a power struggle more than as you kind of were alluding to. Helping kids to actually learn, to function, and all those things. Where she's crotchety, for lack of a better word, and she liked having the kids. Like I don't want to say it was a sick relationship, but she liked where all the kids were obedient and looked up to her. You know what I mean? And I just thought, I'm like, well, you're fucking whack, whatever. So I'm in grade school, but yeah, she said the same thing, like Omar needs to stop talking or whatever, like goofing off or any of that stuff. And my mom wrote back in the report card, because you have a section like leave comments and you give it back to the teacher to prove that you show your parents your report card. And my mom's opening line was, Omar marches to the beat of his own drum and will always march to the beat of his own drum. I was like, oh! So it's like I basically just got permission to do whatever the fuck I wanted, you know?
I forgot
So I was like, whatever.
That's dope.
Whatever.
I forgot who said it.
You can't tell me shit.
Someone said we spend the first 3 years teaching our kids how to talk and how to walk, and then the rest 18 years teaching them how to sit down and shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And you're like, like that's literally what our school system does. So you shut the fuck up, sit back down for 8 hours a day, which is not a good condition to learn in, let alone be a human in. And that's literally what our whole system is built on.
Well, think about the type of. There's some great teachers out there,
Sure,
but it's few and far between. Think of the pay of the teachers, and think what that's going to attract. Like honestly, like if you want to pay, like if you want great school system, you got to pay for professionals who are going to spend the time to be professionals. But if you pay for below average, you have a below, for babysitters.
Why are you
you're
surprised if you get below average?
Like that's really it. And so when you look at it, like I think of the people that are teachers at my old high school that I went to school with. I'm like, how are these people teachers right now? I'm like, and then when I was in school, I was like, this teacher sucks. But I'm like, everybody's like, oh, but they're a teacher. Like you got to respect them. But now I'm like,
I was right.
Yeah, I was like,
right.
like they did suck.
Yeah.
Like,
I wonder what the pay is in Toronto compared to here.
Good, actually.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. And
By
maybe they care
and large,
more,
I would say, Mike, that my schooling experience, with that being said, I did enjoy overall my schooling experience for what it was compared to other stories that I did here. And I would say, I don't know concrete numbers, but I think teachers relative, at least in Toronto, where I'm from in Canada, compared to numbers that, Mike, you've told me how much teachers get paid. They definitely get paid more in Canada, relative even to the currency conversion and that standard of living.
Yeah, I think there's two big issues. One is the pay and the type of teachers you have. Like, and you can't force someone to care about their job. That's a whole nother fucking world issue, right? Like, hopefully people will end up in a situation, topic, job, career that they love, and so then they're going to care about it more. Which how's the teacher to find that out? Because that's part of the vicious circle, because you're in school and you don't find out what you actually love, right? You're just getting forced everything. And then two, I think it's actual curriculum, which I'd imagine Canada's the same as us, and that's the same issue. It's like you said, you're just teaching people to memorize. Like you're just teaching people to read a textbook, regurgitate it.
We have a phone in our hands that we can Google. If you can Google it, we don't need to learn it in school.
And even before that, though, I think even in the 90s and 80s, when you couldn't Google, like you're learning all these random facts, and not that you shouldn't learn history and some numbers.
Like why are you learning?
And why can't we teach? And I don't know how to do it. And my school was weird, and they tried to do it. And I think they did a good job of it. But you try to teach them how to think about a topic, right?
Yeah.
How can you learn? How can you be a little bit creative? And creativity, when other people might hear about it, like, oh, well, we don't want a bunch of people drawing, but creativity doesn't just come through drawing. Like creative thought, meaning you hear this, and
even
then
critical thinking.
Critical thinking, I guess, is would be the term. But creativity, where you can think, for yourself, but also, okay, if this happens, well, what if this or what if that, and keep a little bit of imagination, even when it comes to more concrete topics. Like there can be imagination in business, there could be imagination in accounting, there can be imagination in math in a way, and that's kind of what my weird school is. We had art class in math. I should dive in one day. I'll show you some shit, Omar. I'll blow your mind.
Blow my mind, bro. I'm ready.
I'll blow your mind, bro.
But speaking of things that are about to blow my mind, Zach, I heard you're a huge fan of the upcoming Space Force.
Oh man, the name.
It is a good name.
The name.
I wish I did more
So
research
I'm
on
going to be So does anyone actually know anything about the Space Force before I go on? Because I've heard some things, but
dude, Mike's an expert at it.
I read one article. I read one article.
Imagine Mike is in charge of the Space Force. Like it shows no one's in charge. No one knows
I just
what he's
started
doing.
handing out lightsabers
To defend the Republic. It's like it doesn't work that way, bro.
My Padawan, call them all Padawans. I'm wearing a dark hood.
You're a Sith, bro. Then you're Sith if you're wearing a dark hood.
It's okay, dude. It's okay.
You're like light side, dark side. We're all on the right side, you know.
All I know is that we made an army or military force for space, and the most creative name we could come up. And I don't like to push my political agenda on nobody, but I just wish we had a more creative team come up with a name than Space Force.
Okay, so. What
look, I'll say something by tomorrow's episode. Like if you give me 24 hours, I'm coming up with something better than Space Force.
Yeah. So what is the function of said Space Force?
I think it's a military, outer space military.
Okay. Got it. Yeah.
I don't know if it's against aliens or against whoever. No. I think. I don't think it's. I might be wrong. I don't think it's.
Fact check this shit right now, bro.
I don't think it's to fight other nations in outer space, because we would just fight here. Right, to do the most damage, we would just fight here. I don't think it's to fight other nations.
Well, but
here.
It's proxy wars then. So you have a colony. You both have a colony.
No, I don't think it's
know
for
if
that.
that's what it's for.
I think it's for fucking aliens. I think it's for fucking aliens because it came around a similar time that we started. There was some law or document written where certain information had to be.
Mike's done way more research.
No, you'll know this. You'll know this. They started to do. We had some kind of law written down.
Even about Mike looked how to join Space Force. I'm not making fun out of you.
Even about JFK.
The Space Force is a military branch that conducts space warfare.
Space warfare.
That's so general. Well, so it conducts space warfare. What the fuck does that even mean?
Look, I think it's tied into what I'm getting into. All right, bro. I think we had something written, and it had even to do with like JFK's assassination. It had to do with Area 51, where I don't know what president did it, but there was like a 30, 40-year contract where certain files were hidden and confidential, and then they were released. So some things got released about Area 51. Basically said this is true.
No, you're right about the files being released. Yes,
and so they released that Area 51 is a real thing.
Right.
And so once that was announced, I think Trump or whoever in the political world felt it was safe to announce or move on. Because if it was safe,
how long ago was this announced?
I think this was within like a year or two. This is real recent. And same with the JFK stuff.
Bro,
some secret files
Alex
about
Jones
JFK.
got kicked off of YouTube. We're back, bitches. We're the ones coming up with the theories.
So, but just imagine though, if you can't come out with if the government just said Space Force and we're saying like, all right, we got military warfare in outer space, without at least because they never would comment on Area 51. But now they commented on Area 51, so now that it's just step 8, and now step B, and then step C is going to be like, well, actually, Will Smith actually works in the middle there, and he wears a black suit, and he fucking buses people.
Have you already applied for Space Force is all I want to know.
Bro, I've been practicing my whole life for this.
You're like, what was that 80s movie called? Where it's basically where he plays a video game, and the video game is actually a test.
Tron.
No.
He rides a motorcycle in real life and then rides a motorcycle in the game.
It's a test. The video game is a test. The Last Starfighter.
Never seen it.
So it's an arcade cabinet and you play it, and when you beat the game, it's a hard game to beat, but when you beat the game, an alien force comes, and it actually was the way they were testing to try and find the hero pilot that they need against the evil empire.
I like
it. So this is like your version of that.
I was going to say remake that. Yeah, remake it.
Yeah, so this is it. Starring Mike. I understand. He got so hyped up about that. Zach's like, I don't know if that's what it's about. We're like, I don't know. Mike's like, it's real. It's happening, and I'm going to become a Jedi.
I did watch more shit, and there was something about it might even be fucking Southwest swear. It might be. I don't swear. I take it back. These are 50%.
East 4.
I don't
it's
swear.
a 100%.
Well, it started with one article. It's like actually much more.
Put it on my mama. Just kidding. No, I'm wrong.
I'll never say that, bro.
It was something about some airlines getting a pilot, and that pilot literally just goes from Area 51 to Vegas airport for employees only. Bro, sketch, bro.
Hey, I have
one flight.
Now I have a big question for you, Mike.
I
that
don't
we're all
have
gonna decide.
answers.
No,
The
don't
truth
worry.
is I don't
I've
have
already
answers.
moved on from Space Force.
Oh,
I think it's adorable and I think it's great.
All right, move on.
Can't wait to see you join Space Force.
All right, Toronto
Here's-
Air Force.
Here's what I was going to say. So I'm going to ask both of you, and we'll start with Zach, because you just mentioned Space Force. You could only pick one of the three big franchises. One would be Star Trek. Actually, no, fuck Star Trek. We'll go Star Wars. Lord of the Rings and everything around it, or Harry Potter. You can only pick one of the three.
It's not even close. Lord of the Rings.
Okay, that's probably my pick.
Yeah, it's not even
Mike,
close.
go on.
What am I choosing? My favorite.
Which of the three? There's like usually three camps.
Yeah, let's just say
you see,
that you would have to eliminate the other two, Mike, and so
from
you
my
can
life
only,
and memory.
yeah, you can only live in one.
Dude, I can't say goodbye to Harry. I can't say goodbye.
Harry
I can't say goodbye to Frodo neither. I can't say goodbye to little Leia neither. I can't. Those are like three of my faves.
See,
love them all.
here's what I would say
Equally.
is, so I prefer the original trilogy of Star Wars to the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is fantastic, the movies.
Yeah.
But what sets it over the top, the world building in the books, is far beyond that of Star Wars.
if you're
And Harry Potter I enjoyed, but I was growing up as they were being released, and I forget, Order of the Phoenix, I'm making up numbers here, came out, I was like 11, and I was like, nah, I'm kind of over this.
I think you have to go just
over
books or
this.
just movies though.
What do you mean?
Because Harry and Lord of the Rings are predominantly books turned to decent movies. or
And
good
you
movies.
could keep the
But
entire
Star Wars-
canon, Mike, of Star Wars
Yeah,
books.
but I feel like they're not books.
the same. No, I
Yeah.
agree.
And
I-
I'm not a reader. What the fuck do I know?
Oh, so
But-
I'm saying, all right, whatever. We could do if we
Movies
do
only. I say
movies. I think
movies
Harry
only.
Potter loses every time, in my opinion, for movies. I don't know.
I mean, for me, you just look at all the moving parts of the Lord of the Rings movies,
It's good,
and like
yeah.
literally, it's like you look at them and you're like this legit happened.
Yeah.
like
It feels like it does, like, it's
oh
memory.
my
Yeah.
gosh, like it's unreal. I
It's
remember growing up like this is like I'm like a huge fan of Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
Go
really?
on, bro.
Yeah, we love it.
You read the books too, like the
Yeah,
Silmarillion
I
and
read
stuff?
them all.
I'm all the way in, bro.
The
I'm all the
Hobbit
way
was
in.
just like the biggest disappointment.
It's
That
the
was-
first ones.
The book was amazing.
Not the
Yeah.
cartoon movie in the 90s though.
No,
That
the one in
shit's
the
fire.
70s was fantastic.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
it was
heck,
good.
but they
I
showed
haven't
all
watched
this.
that one.
Oh,
no,
dude.
I was gonna say that.
Looks
I
like it's
watched-
drawn in crayon, but it's
So,
amazing.
I'm huge in it. Like Silmarillion, actually, it reads more kind of like an encyclopedia, where it's like giving just a short summary of each one that later maybe would have expanded in other stories. It's still my favorite though, where it's like the Silmarils, Fëanor, Fingolfin, Fingon, Morgoth, all that stuff. I'm in Extelion on the tower with Turgon. Don't fuck with me with Gothmog. The Balrogs, I'm in. It's beautiful. But I was gonna say that The Hobbit, the third movie, I saw it on opening night with my brother. So I saw the first one, and immediately I'm like, this is not good, right?
When did the first movie come out?
The Hobbit?
2000, 1999?
Which one, bro?
Oh, The Hobbit?
Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings,
Oh, Lord of the
Lord of
Rings, 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2001.
How old were you? Seventh grade.
Yeah, I remember it was the last Alliance. Like the hair on the back of my neck started fucking standing up as soon as the beginning of the movie, Fellowship of the Ring happens, and it's like it was the last alliance of elves and men. I'm like, oh shit! And
got
like,
your first
they have
boner.
they have the lineup. I'm like, oh, this is fucking epic. And then The Hobbit just was so silly. All I was gonna say about The Hobbit, watched the first one, disappointed. Second one, thought it was even worse. Third one comes up, I'm like, whatever, like, fuck it. Like, I gotta see this. I love the Lord of the Rings universe. We see it, Middle Earth is my jam. And at the end of the movie's done. So movie fades to black and everything. All the biggest fans are there. Opening night, right?
Who'd you dress up as?
It's silent. I dressed up as Gothmog. Connor's like, what the fuck is that? So it's silent. So the movie ends and it's completely silent, and everyone's just like there, not knowing how to comprehend it. It sucked, but like everyone's just like trying to justify in their mind. And a guy 2 rows in front of me, all of a sudden he's like, that's like that, and everyone started laughing, and someone's like, yeah, pretty much. But everyone's like watching, kind of like, as something tragic happened before your eyes. We're like, I want it to be good.
It's sad. Like if you're an NBA fan, it's kind of like Kobe Bryant's last season.
Yeah.
You're like, why did you play that? Like people were kind of like taking it easy on him. You could see like, like you were the Mamba, and like, and it's the same thing with like The Hobbit. Like the book, The Hobbit, that started like the book that in reality was the origin story.
Yeah, ended up being the
was
worst.
the crappiest movies that literally were 180 compared to the attention to detail that was put in to those original movies.
Yeah.
And like, I remember watching those movies helped shape my imagination.
Yeah.
Like, I remember watching them and being like, whoa, like, if this can be imagined, like, what else can be imagined? And I remember my dad, anytime a new one would come out, like, we would go to the midnight showing and I'd get to skip school the next day. And we'd go to that one, and then and so that was like a tradition. And we wouldn't get out till like 3:30 in the morning because they were like 3 hours long.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, but you sit there on the edge of your seat the whole freaking time. And we leave like, hell yeah, that was awesome.
I'll eliminate Harry. All right, I'll eliminate Harry. I love Harry, but I can't choose between the other two. I can't choose.
So Lord of the Rings, I'll put it this way. I saw Star Wars. I would take the movies of Star Wars, the original trilogy, specifically Empire Strikes Back is, out of all 6 of those movies, is my favorite by far. And then A New Hope did bring some new stuff. The books of Lord of the Rings are what elevated. And I think when you said...
I think that's what elevates Harry, though. Like I never read them, but if you brought a Harry Potter fan in here, they would say like,
if you like the books,
you go toe to toe with Lord of the Rings. I bet you a Harry Potter fan would.
What I was going to say, you raised a very good point where you said about Lord of the Rings. The entire world feels really lived in and like it's an actual thing that happened. And Star Wars, as much as I love it, it works as a movie. But, Tolkien thought about everything for years and years and decades. It's so filled up. If you were to ask him a question about a section of Middle Earth, he would have the answer.
Star Wars, they'll mention one planet one time and never mention again.
Exactly. Like, and we all agree on that. That's not an insult.
I agree.
But
I love Star Wars.
One has detailed world building, and then the other one is a really cool movie series.
One's a world, and one is a
galaxy far, far away. I know you're going to say.
You
know the equivalent of that for sci-fi, though, if you want to read like world building sci-fi, and not quite the same, but I do feel that people they say Star Wars. There's a few things. There's a French comic book that definitely partially inspired Star Wars. Then there's Akira Kurosawa's Hidden Fortress. The overall plot line is very similar. Of course, that's fine to draw inspirations. The one that no one talks about, though, is Frank Herbert's Dune. It's set also on a desert planet. It deals with the prophet motif with Muad'Dib. It was written well before Lord of the Rings, well before Star Wars. But that's like the book equivalent, I would say, of Star Wars for books. So, it's a different universe, though.
Yeah,
it feels real.
Which one's make more money? It's got to be Star Wars overall. Harry's probably pretty good.
They're all giants. They're all titans.
I bet you money-wise, though, you start to talk about toys and everything else. It's
Star Wars. I bet you Lord of the Rings has made the least.
Yeah, I bet you it's Harry or Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, The Hobbit, so you add up all it's like probably, I'm making up numbers like 3 billion, but the first Force Awakens when it came back, was it 2 billion or was it?
Wow, but toys for Star Wars, video games for fucking.
No, for sure. It's just funny to me, and I don't want to trash the latest Star Wars movies because I've already done that enough. But it's amazing to me that they had 35 years since like Return of the Jedi or whatever before the latest episode 7 came out, and they haven't added anything unique or new, and it feels like a retread to me after all that time. I'm like, you've added nothing to this world. Like you've had 30 years to ruminate on what makes this world special. And actually, if you want to talk some real nerdy shit, Zach, have you played any of the BioWare games, Knights of the Old Republic?
No.
Okay.
That's a conversation with Connor. I haven't played it either.
But I was going to say that there are Star Wars stories that are told really well, that are more nuanced than the movies and really push the entire universe forward. Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, and even the online game that they played. It's just fantastic
I think it's just
stuff.
because the other two were books. I think it's because the other two were books. And so Star Wars started as a movie. In a movie, you only have to have like a line. But in a book, because there is no visual, you're trying to build the whole world. And that's why Lord of the Rings did a little bit better.
Yeah.
Or a lot of it better.
Okay. Well, for me personally, the books, you have an imagination. So when you read the book and then you watch the movie, you're like, dang, like that's it. Like, yes, like I remember this. And you're having like deja vu because you read the book and you had created a mental picture, but then that mental picture is finally there. With a lot of the other things, the mental picture is like a little bit foggy. You're like,
with Star Wars, you're like, there's so many things like the trade wars, especially the prequels. A lot of people shit on them. I mean, there are so many problems with them, but just different things where it's like, I can't flesh this out for my, like if my entire life depended on it, where they'll say just about trade negotiations or like, this is how a democracy ends, not with whatever, but with thunderous applause. Like just all the lines. And you're trying to imagine this galactic republic of thousands of planets. Like this is just a CGI with a blue screen here and there's a corny line. I'm like, oh, I'm trying, guys. I'm really trying. Yeah, it's just not coming together. Here's the next question. So you asked me who I dressed up as. If you could be one Lord of the Rings character, who would you be?
Like actually be him or just dress up?
No, be him, bro.
Oh, be him? I don't know, bro. I mean, Sam Wise is my guy. Like, I feel like Sam and I.
Sam is just a good dude. He's just a good dude.
He's just along for the ride, bro. You know, I feel like I'm Sam on the inside, and I feel like on the outside I could be Sam too.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, who you got?
I mean,
he's like, I don't know, but definitely Sauron. I'm like, what?
Whoa,
what?
Those are fighting words. I mean, it's gonna be cliche, but I could say I'm a short white guy, so I gotta say Frodo.
In the game.
Yeah.
So we got Frodo and Sam.
Yeah, we're
there
on a
you
journey,
go.
dude.
There you go.
That's it.
Okay.
What do you got? You already had yours picked out. That's why you asked the question. So go
No,
ahead.
I honestly didn't.
Now you're
no,
lying. Go ahead.
I would need to think about it.
No, I know you've thought about this at one point in your life.
Oh, I mean, for Lord of the Rings, the
Look at
movies,
smile,
it'd be
Connor.
no.
He's been thinking about this for 12 years. He's just like, one day I'm gonna have a podcast.
No. It would be. I'd want to go the entire universe, and I'd probably go like Fingalfin if I.
You're going too deep, dude.
Yeah.
Our listeners aren't there.
Bilbo Baggins, so I could chill with you guys.
Okay, all right.
There you go.
All right, that's what we wanted to hear.
I'll be the guy in Lord of the Rings. I'm like still tempted by it. I'm like, no, yeah. Thank you for that role.
That should maybe jump in that movie.
I mean, Gandalf obviously is dope because he's basically an angel.
Sure.
That's a cool role, but
Sure.
I mean that's too much power. You know, I rather just have Tom Bombadil, which they didn't have in the movies, but I'm like he's a cool character.
What about Miss Tyler? Well, what's her character's
Oh
name?
yeah,
Yes, sir, I'll be her.
Arwen.
Sure, I'll be Arwen. Kind of elegant.
You want me to be?
You want to be my
Aragorn.
lover
Oh,
if you want.
I knew you wanted me to be
Yeah,
that.
if
How
you
did I
want
know
me.
that? All right, whatever. The part that makes it different overall, I feel the biggest thing between Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit is just, as you said, kind of the realism and how faithful it is to the book. And the fact that The Hobbit is the shortest, it's super short, but you made 3 movies out of 300 pages. And then they added a love story out of nowhere about, which, you know, that's cool, like this elf getting some dwarf dick, but like, it just...
That was really weird.
Yeah. Did it make you uncomfortable?
No, like I remember seeing this, I'm like what the hell is
And
this?
they made him look
Statement, dude.
superhuman.
Yeah.
You notice that? It's like, so the one that gets the elf, the dwarf with that dwarf dick is like the most human looking one. I'm
I
like,
remember
what?
being in the theater and everybody's like what? Like what? Like I remember like, what is this? Like
Yeah.
everybody's like you can tell like people that are at the movies, like they understood. They're
Yeah.
like, that's one of the things that I realized is most people who are Lord of the Rings fans read the damn books.
Sure.
Yeah.
They read the damn books, so they
Yeah.
knew, they were educated in the actual movie, and that's why The Hobbit was such a like.
Yeah, left field.
Yeah.
The cartoon does a better version. That heck old cartoon.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
it's
it's good.
actually really good.
Yeah.
You want to hear a funny like deep cut opinion? Is my piano teacher, who must have read shit. He didn't read them when they first came out, but you know, Lord of the Rings had a steady popularity, but really over time it's become more and more popular, and then the movies, you know, just took it to the next level. But he read them. He was studying linguistics and a bunch of other things, and just being a cool dude. And so he read the books, loves the books. He's actually like, he's in his 60s now. But he saw the movies and he's like, too much action. The Lord of the Rings trilogy, just for him, like that's his perspective. And he's like, he's like Tolkien. It's like the world building. It's like the characters, you know, the languages he created. It's like it's all real. It's like, and then you get an action movie. I'm like, I guess everyone has an opinion, and I totally understand
Makes
that.
sense.
But when he writes, like I went back and I did read the trilogy, and when they recount different battles, it's like a paragraph.
Sure.
He'll go into explicit detail about the limbus, like the food that they're eating, 2 pages or whatever, the texture, everything. And then big epic battle that takes place is like half a page.
Yeah.
Of the entire, like it's been leading.
so true.
It's been leading up for this entire trilogy to culminate in this battle.
gotta make money, bro.
Tolkien's just like half a page, bro.
gotta make money.
He's like half. I want to talk about that elf bread again. I'm like, oh yeah, shit, yeah. No, it was very interesting.
That is so interesting. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
He really describes food.
Yeah.
Like in great
Is that
detail.
where you got the origin?
I don't know. Like, now that,
yeah.
like I'm like going
It's in
full
it.
circle right now. I'm like, I really describe food like exactly how. That's interesting.
Did you have that before for yourself, where you always had a fascination with food, like before learning about macronutrients and the power
Yeah,
therein?
already
Or?
cooking or nothing.
No, it was super interesting. This is a typical super active kid. And I literally lived on frozen pizza, macaroni and cheese, toasted strudels, Pop-Tarts, Doritos, cereal.
Mountain Dew Code Red.
Yeah.
Anyone remembers Code Red?
It's amazing. So that was, my whole house lived on Mountain Dew. So
Yeah.
my dad diet Mountain Dew. That was my childhood. And then I just was an athlete, and I was either surfing or playing basketball or playing some sport. And that's it. It was all year round. So that's kind of how it was. And so up until I was 20, I literally lived that same lifestyle. Played college ball, and when I was 20, I tore my iliopsoas, which is like such a freak injury. It felt like a gunshot went off in my hip, because anybody who understands anatomy understands how big. That's literally like ripping a filet mignon steak. Like that's why you can create a visual.
Yeah.
And that
Like in your guts though.
Yeah, like
it's like
deep
in your
inside.
guts.
And I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, like you just feel it like in your soul. Like, and it felt like, I don't know, I feel like you got kicked in the nuts, but then you couldn't breathe, and it was just so much at one time. And I was like, this isn't good. And then I couldn't bring my knee to my chest, and I was like, that's not good. And so, I didn't run for over a year. I didn't run for over a year. I was in a wheelchair for a month. It was a pretty brutal time for me. So up until that point, I didn't really take anything in my life serious. Like, it was just kind of like, hey, like you had great parents, you lived in a middle-class family, you lived in a cool spot, you're naturally charismatic, you've gotten a lot of the things that you've really wanted in life. You haven't really had to work too hard for many things.
And now you're fucked.
Yeah, and so now you're at a point where, okay, everybody knew you as Zach, the basketball player, and everything else was kind of on the background. So like, part of the thing that was so cool was I was a 5'8.5", 5'9" white kid that was, all my best friends were black that all played D1. I got a full ride scholarship to play D2, which is really damn good as a white kid who is below 6 foot. And I was playing super well, and just like that, it was gone.
Oh,
so
man.
For me, it was a crossroads in the sense of, okay, was this happening to me or was this happening for me? And then that changed everything for me. So once I realized, and that took a while. I wanted
Especially
to be
at
the
that
victim.
age. It's not like you're 30 and figuring out life and you've already been through some shit. You're super young.
Yeah, I wanted to be the victim. I wanted everybody to feel bad for me. And I saw that as like an opportunity to like, okay, let's redo this. Like, let's figure. But really what happened was there was a turning point when I was a freshman in college, my first semester at school. I don't talk about this enough, but I was ineligible my second semester. I didn't get to play my second semester because I had a 1.2 GPA.
Hey, what do you need? Like 1.8 or something?
It was like 1.75.
Yeah, you really
Wow.
don't need it much.
I remember playing very well my first semester, and my coach was just kept on getting on me. He's like, Zach, like, what's going on? Like, get it together. And I remember going home for Christmas break, and I remember my mom asking me, she's like, when is your report card gonna get here? Like, and like, when are you gonna get your grades? And I had already had it. I knew I had a 1.2. I knew I was gonna be ineligible. And I remember the day before I go back, I'm like, oh, it happened to get here. And I remember showing it to her, and her look
Of disappointment.
like, if I have,
I see goosebumps.
it's like that look shook me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so I ended up graduating with 3.8.
Yeah.
Didn't replace any of the class. I just worked my freaking tail off. That was the moment for me. And then, so when that happened to me, I knew what I was capable of.
Yeah.
And so I knew how to learn. I mean, I went to a really hard liberal arts school, and it was really tough. You had to have a PhD to teach there. So most of our teachers, it was a pretty new school. Most of our teachers are from Ivy League or from Notre Dame or from all these big time universities. And so it was a very, very hard learning experience for me. So then I transitioned to this thing happening to me. And I realized, well, I never want this to ever happen to me or anybody else ever again. And that became my why. Yeah. I simultaneously read the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek, and it may help me realize like this is happening for me. And I realized my why, which was going to be helping others not have something traumatic happen to them like this through nutrition, anatomy, physiology, movement, strength training, mobility, everything, sleep, anything that could go with helping that process.
Which is another thing that's never taught in any school.
Not at all.
You have a nutrition course and it's dog shit.
Yeah, zero. It's just
the
terrible.
food guide. Do you guys have the food pyramid?
Yeah.
It's all trash.
Yeah.
It's very much so. Well, it focuses on the wrong thing. I mean, it just doesn't teach people a balanced approach.
Sure.
It demonizes certain things.
And vague as hell.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the pyramid, you're like, that kind of makes sense.
Sure.
But then it doesn't give you context.
Yeah.
It's black or white. So for me, that was a huge moment for me. So I used that from now 20 till 26. It's just been an ongoing process. I ended up transitioning to keep my scholarship into an assistant coach role. And then by the time I was a senior, I was a head strength and conditioning coach for 3 teams at the university as a senior, on top of being an assistant coach. But then also I graduated college with 50 clients with my first business. So I was training local faculty, staff, and athletes. And that was my first business, GPA, Genetic Potential Academy. And so I graduated from school and ended up starting my business back in the backyard of my parents' house for a couple months. And then I worked out a deal with the city back home. They had a new facility. I was like, hey, let me be the head trainer. Worked out a deal with them, 80-20 split. They got 20% of what I made, and I didn't have to pay rent. That was literally it. And so I built up a clientele.
Cool.
By the time I was 24, we opened our brand new 5,500 square foot facility from the ground up, built that. That's still there.
That's all in your hometown?
That's all in my hometown. And then a year ago, right before I moved here, I ended up selling that. Selling my stake, and it's still going well. We built it from the ground up, and it's just something that's providing a lot of value to the area. And I just knew that I wanted to do nutrition full time and do what I was doing. And so if you see, before a year ago, I got to 100,000 followers on 2 hours a day, maybe cooking and posting on Instagram.
It was like secondary.
It was secondary. It was in the sense of like, I had no social life. I'm building a gym from the ground up, spending 12 hours there a day. As a personal trainer, you understand that from 11 to 2 is like a low time. Yep. And then you have till you go to bed that night. So I'm at the gym from 5:45 till 11. I just run home, cook multiple meals just so I have 2 posts for that day. And I'm literally eating them as I'm driving back to the gym because I had to take pictures of them and everything. Yeah. I'm having a full course meal in my 10-minute drive back to the gym. I'm having to train on a full stomach because I'm having to eat these foods and then go train right away. And then I get back from the gym and I'm having to do all back end stuff at night. And then every Saturday and Sunday, I'm never going out.
Yeah, sleep.
I'm literally sleeping, or I'm working on my side hustle. And then I was like, I just want to do this freaking full time.
Yeah.
It was the moment I realized that was in 2016 when I went to Olympia, and I went there with maybe 40,000 followers, and I was getting mobbed. I was like, whoa. I was like, this is really freaking cool. I was like, this is so interesting. And I told myself at that moment I was going to eventually sell my gym.
Yeah.
And I eventually sold it, and tomorrow will be the year that I've been
fortuitous
in Austin.
Was Mom a good cook? Was she creative in there? Or?
No, not at all.
Like the honesty. Appreciate it. Hopefully Mom's not listening.
No, Mom knows.
Mom, yeah.
Oh, that's fair.
Mom knows.
It's good when they know, honestly. Because I have one of my uncles, his wife is not a good cook.
But she thinks she can throw down.
I don't think anyone's ever told her, but everybody agrees that she's not a good cook.
Yeah.
But she'll always volunteer to cook, and no one has the heart.
Yeah.
Also because like, you know, he was the one working, she stayed at home, and so it's like
Sticks the air out of the room.
Yeah,
I'm cooking.
real bad.
Yeah, so it's cool because my mom, she now is just like my biggest ambassador in the sense of she always sends me pictures of things she's making for my dad and for her
Nice.
friends, and
That's good.
It's so cool to see now. Like she'll just send me a picture. I'll post it up on my story or something like that.
Yeah,
like
that's funny.
she'll send me a picture like, hey, I just made your new recipe that you post on YouTube, or the one that you just put into our online membership site, or that you have in the book. Like it was freaking awesome. And then I had all my friends make it too. She's like, I forgot to take pictures. I promise I'll take them next time. So she'll take pictures, and she's having a lot of fun. And so I've kind of spurred a new world for her on baking and cooking and having fun in the kitchen and stuff. And it's like actually a really cool release time for her.
You've turned her into actually a good cook.
It's
You've
cool.
done the impossible. Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool. So it's
But
been
yours is all self-taught.
so
just figuring
I
it
have
out.
zero culinary background.
Like it.
Zero. If a professional chef sees me in the kitchen,
Yeah.
they're like wanting to throw up because of
Like how you cut things.
yeah,
and-
how I do things. Like I'm not cutting things with my finger.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
cutting them with my finger straight out. Like I'm gonna cut my damn finger off. Like
Yeah.
they're like, oh my God, I'm cringing
Yeah.
watching that. I'm like, oh well. I'm like, I'm just like anybody else. So
Yeah, getting it done.
I can relate to everybody else. I don't want to go and take professional cooking lessons
'cause
because
the world can't.
It takes away. Yeah. So like whenever I do anything, I ask myself before I even do it, can somebody with no culinary background do this? If they couldn't, sorry.
No.
Or can I do it in a way that somebody with no culinary background
Yeah.
can do it? And that's the biggest thing is because people think being a chef or cooking is hard. It's like,
Yeah.
it's really damn easy when you understand that you walk into the kitchen and you're like, I'm gonna make this. And like you understand the principles, the moving parts of a recipe, and you understand what you can plug and play. Like when somebody asks me, like, hey, like I really like burgers. Like, could you make a burger? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, a burger is so easy to make. Like when you understand like how do you make it low calorie? It's like, well, first and foremost, what's causing most of the calories? It's the lower quality source of meat.
Yeah.
It's a 75-25 meat that most places get, which is per 4 ounces. If you just use the 96.4,
Yeah.
it literally cuts the calories in half,
Yeah.
if not more.
Yeah.
You have higher protein content. You have the same burger. You literally can have them sitting side by side. You would not know the difference.
No.
One is helping you reach your goals. The other is not.
Hey, you go even deeper. You go to turkey 99, or you go to like I've been eating ostrich, bro.
Really?
Ostrich burger. Dude,
It's not bad.
That's why
Bro,
you're
it's
looking so
fucking
big.
good.
No, I
It's
dude,
better
I
than-
like different
I
game
don't.
meats.
I'm not that, I like gamey stuff, but ostrich
I
is
grew
a
up
little out
eating-
there. I like elk, but that's hard to come by. I mean, ostrich kind of
Better
is
stay
too.
away.
Bison's one of those ones that most people can get a hands on.
Yeah, that's
and
pretty
it's-
gamey
It's
and
really, I like it a lot.
The milk's different of bison where it has like a real tang to it.
Bison milk.
Yeah.
I just don't drink milk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I grew
either.
up eating a lot of lamb and stuff, and that's what, like goat milk's cool. I'm like,
Yeah.
I tried bison. I like bison. I'm like, I'll try the milk. It's tangy.
Yeah,
as
I like
fuck.
bison. I
Yes.
like bison.
The sheep's milk is actually the most delicious in my opinion.
Really?
I remember like watching Omar like 2 years ago, and he's talking
got some
about
goat
drinking
shit.
like goat milk.
Oh, bro.
I used to laugh
Sneaking
at that.
in, sneaking
don't
in
do
those
milk.
hidden calories, bro. That's how. Because I have Mike knows. Like we joke about this, where I said, I'm like, man, I'm like a fatty. Mike's like, don't say that. It's like, no,
Yeah.
you're not. It's like you don't think about food that much. You don't even
Yeah.
eat that much food. Like
He's not
I have
addicted to
think
food
about
like
those
me.
things. Like,
Yeah.
when we try to eat as many calories as possible recently. In one sitting, like as many, and I'm like putting in the effort. It's 1 hour and it's a challenge. So I'm like, I'm trying way harder than I'd try if I just was having fun. That's like 3,000 calories or whatever in an hour. And I'm like, I'm so full
Getting
and I
older,
feel disgusting.
I feel it's hard too. I used to be able to pound food, dude. I was literally hungry 24/7. Now, like, I'm still hungry 24/7, but I can pull back.
Well, it's interesting. It's like you look at that, you're like, okay, is this correlation or is this causation? It's like when you look at most people when they get older, what happens is their life is just not as active.
Bro, don't call me old. Dude.
I'm
Dude,
just
he's
no.
like,
I'm
well
like
aged.
the same thing.
Like,
Like
sit
I
in
think
the
about
rocking
my
chair.
I think about my day and like how often like we filmed a full day of eating yesterday, and like one of the topics that we covered was NEAT, and it's like I have to be so mindful of my NEAT now.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, it's like all right, like, let's just go. And so you were more active and you didn't even think about food.
Sure.
Now I'm having to think about my NEAT and how I can sneak in. I can still have the same day, but I can sneak in activity by doing certain things here and there that add up. And by the end of the day, I'm like, whoa, I took 15,000 steps. It's like, an extra 10,000 steps. I would say you take 5,000.
Hundreds of calories.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Like, people want to worry about the gym. It's like, no. The gym is not it. Like,
Stop sitting so much.
I was going to say also probably the change for you from training people constantly where you're on your feet. Like I remember I used to have a pedometer when I was training people, and by the end of the day, it'd be like 16,000 because I'm just walking back and forth. Like I'm looking around, I'm like doing some of the stuff, demonstrating whatever. It's like, and you go from that full time to then working for yourself, just, sitting on your butt for probably 40 hours a week. It's like, damn, you go from 16,000 steps to like 2,000.
Even just a smaller layer, like most of us, I think you work from home mostly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we all work from home rather than like going to an office. Like,
you just gotta be so
office.
aware of it. Like I have to start my day with a 4,000 to 5,000 step walk. And I batch it in the sense of like I'm doing something that I would do naturally sitting. I could go and get out of my room and go sit on my desk and do it. But I look, okay, what's something I can do early on in the morning? A lot of times it's brainstorming. It's a lot of creative stuff while I'm walking. It'll be like simple things like that. But just understanding, like, we can look at our day and be like, okay, how do I do something that I would normally do that wouldn't be contributing to my NEAT? And how can I still do that and then contribute to my NEAT?
Yeah, maybe it's an audio book. Maybe it's a fucking whatever
something
podcast.
like that. And there's so many different ways to go about it. Like, I wish I could read and walk at the same time, but I can't. That's why audiobooks are dope. But
maybe a spin bike.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can.
It's hard. I've tried.
It's really hard.
I used to all the time I was training people. When I would do the cardio, I'd do the incline walk and I'd have a book, and it's just like I did it, but it's not as good.
The retention is just not there.
Yeah, so that's why I switched to after like audio, like just either podcast or anything else.
AC/DC.
AC the whole time while you're just walking, bumping those big beats.
Dude, I thump like EDM.
No,
I've never
when you
EDM.
walk.
Yeah, when I'm like step milling, but you're not going that hard. Like step mill's hard as shit. Like I'm not going that fast. Like it's a step.
The BPM has to
Match.
like run. Well, like if the beat's really, then I feel like running faster.
I just dance double time, so I'll wiggle on a leg. I probably look like such a dumb shit.
I wish someone filmed you. It's like, this is the real silent mic.
I've thought about it before. I'm like, dude, looking around in the gym, like the commercial gym I go to do cardio is pretty empty, but I'm fucking. Sometimes I'm like going side to side on this thing, fucking smashing, bro, just dancing my dick off, and everyone's hella old in there. They probably think I'm such an idiot, such a tweaker.
This guy wanted to be a dancer, didn't make it, and now he has to dance on the step up. Like, dude, come on, bro.
Step mill during the day, Magic Mike at night.
I'll share this quick anecdote. I remember there's a gym in a suburb of Toronto that I went to train one time, and somebody was going ham on the step up machine and fell off.
Oh no, those things
like,
are tricky.
Yeah, but like not like didn't injure herself or anything, but was like, I think she was really playing it up how hard she was going on it. So I'm like, this is kind of karma. Like the way she was doing shit, like just like climbing and all that stuff. Like, come on, man, it's a step up. Like, you're good.
Besides the top secret pop-ups that are happening or trucks,
what else you got?
Yeah, what's coming?
So we have a few things in the works. We can't really announce just yet, but that's like, those are two big ones. Cool. But we're looking to. I'm fascinated by the world of nutrition right now, to where there's so many extremes.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
So one thing I'm trying to do is bridge the gap between, yes, we provide a lot of awesome, like we're known for our recipes, but what I want to do is continue to bridge the gap with education and do it like, for example, get somebody into the funnel from recipes, but then teach them why the recipes actually work.
Yeah.
And so helping people understand that flexible dieting is nothing but a choice. That's literally it. You have a choice to do intermittent fasting. You have a choice to do keto. You just understand the principles at which great nutrition looks like.
Yeah.
The things that matters. That if you do not follow these principles, you will not get those results. That's literally what flexible dieting is. You have a choice. You have a choice to do whatever you want. And you have a choice to build the perfect diet for you.
Yeah.
Mike has a perfect diet. Omar has a perfect diet.
Nope.
Zach has a perfect diet. But we shouldn't be looking at like, hey, what's that perfect diet? It's like, no, you need to understand that education allows you to build the perfect diet.
Right.
For
Because
you.
there's adherence, because there's lifestyle, and because there's
Everything.
goals. Yeah,
Life's
yeah.
kind of constantly. That's what drives creativity. Is when you understand, you can be creative.
Sure.
But if you don't understand even how to play the game,
Yeah.
how the hell are you supposed to be creative and make the game even better?
Yeah.
Because that's just not. You don't understand how to play.
Right.
So like if I'm playing basketball and I don't even understand like the rules, if my big man comes out to set me a screen,
Yeah.
I don't even know how to use it. And even if let's say I know how to use a screen, but my teammates don't understand how to play the
nothing
game,
happens.
that if I come off the screen and I get help side, but my man doesn't understand that when his man helps, he can drop and I can give him a dish and he can lay it up
Yeah.
right there.
He doesn't know he can move.
He doesn't know he can move, then like nothing else works.
Yeah.
And so if we can understand the principles of nutrition, stop arguing and fighting over what's perfect, like no such thing as perfect for a whole, but there can be perfect for somebody at that moment in time.
Yeah.
On September 8th at 6:59, what might be perfect for that person.
Yeah.
And then you understand how to fit that into your lifestyle. And then over time, it's going to continue to evolve. And so my biggest thing is we're working really hard just to make it easier for people to do that.
Cool.
That's
Yeah.
it.
So education up.
Education.
So
Now we're
the
getting pizza.
carnivore diet.
Oh God.
I told you that about like Jordan Peterson's
Yeah.
daughter was on Rogan, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
Mike, you've not you listened to it.
Yeah. It's super interesting. It's like,
You can be so knowledgeable, or it's like you know a lot about psychology. It's like, damn, it's like this nutrition stuff is really on shaky legs. Like I'd say,
Yeah.
you're giving bad information to the masses. now.
yeah, it's like you write this amazing book. You're so freaking smart. And yeah, I see quotes like, hey, like I'm not telling anybody to do this, but this is how it's worked for me. Okay,
Sure.
so let's look at how many people there are in this world. There's billions and billions of people. Let's say there's 100 people that have a positive result from doing the carnivore diet.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the smallest percentage ever. Does that mean everybody should do it?
Well,
no.
who's even to say what's positive? Like just because they lost weight, like all right, is that still
and
positive?
what were they doing before?
Right,
Well,
exactly.
how long did it last?
Yeah.
How long did you stick to that diet? How did you?
If
There's placebo effect.
The
in your
lack
head,
of
too.
scientific rigor on the diet part, I find shocking.
Yeah. Well, if you go from, if you are the type of person that goes to something that new of the carnivore diet, you were probably doing something very extreme before. You were never in the medium.
Yeah.
Like you were never in that good spot of balance. You were never there. You've gone from one extreme to another to another.
Sure. That's short answer. Quick result.
Yeah, quick result. And it's like, of course, if you have to follow the carnivore diet, your food is so it's even more limited than keto, which is the most limiting diet there is. And it's like, you literally have to not like food. You must have to detest food. Like literally food gives you, like if somebody were to track your brain and when you eat food, dopamine actually goes like it goes down. You're kind of depressed when you have to eat.
Yeah.
Like and that's the same with keto. I believe that 100%. So if you're going to go into the keto diet, best believe you must have to think food is something that you hate eating. Because if you're going to do the keto diet, it's going to be sustainable for you. Or if you're going to do the freaking carnivore diet, God forbid, go for it. But if you love food, it's just not going to work.
It's not going to be sustainable.
It's not going to be sustainable.
Yeah, and that's the big one. Yeah, and that's what people will do diets. So, I lost 10 pounds. I'm like, yeah, you lost 10 pounds because now you don't eat any of the things that you love.
Yeah.
And now you're just eating one very limited thing. It's like, so you're going to do this for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Forget like the micronutrients, like the carnivore diet. Where I'm like, this is just dangerous. Like this, it goes from being, okay, this is a fad to, and it's weird how just things work where there's cycles and things become more extreme, I feel, over time, where you have the low carb diet. Then obviously there's the ketogenic diet. Then you have the carnivore diet where it's like, well, let's just shed off layers of this now.
Now we got people saying it's okay to fast for 30 days.
Yeah.
Like based on research of somebody who was almost
cavemen did
500 pounds.
No, cavemen did it, you know?
Fasted for over a year and lost extremely. Do they understand what body fat is? It's energy. So if you're at a healthy body fat percentage and you do that, like, what are you doing? Like, there's we just live in a world of extremes, and it's just going to take time, and people are going to mess up and they're gonna, I mean, I went to extremes. Like my introduction to nutrition was the paleo diet.
Sure.
And it had a lot of good things. It taught me that a lot of healthy foods taste good.
Yeah.
But what it did was it ruined my relationship with food to where I was binging on the foods that were not allowed.
Yeah.
I would go 10 to 14 days with, oh damn, I'm paleo. Woo,
Yeah.
woo.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like on that 10th to 14th day, I'd take that list of all the foods that I'd had cravings for. I'd go to the store.
Oh, yeah.
Make this
Go to
list.
town.
Yes. And then you just have a glorified binge and then you're like, what the hell just happened? And then, but then you
black
talk
out. You black out. It's like someone put blinders on, bro. And
Yeah.
then it's going straight to Ben and Jerry's. I'm like a
And
a
you're like,
shark with
whoa.
radar in my head, just finding the Ben and Jerry's.
But the scary part was you talked to all your friends and they were all doing it too.
Yeah.
So you're like,
Yeah,
okay,
it's the
this
norm.
is a cheat day. This is
Yeah.
normal. This
Yeah.
is normal.
Normalizing something that's
Yeah.
unhealthy.
And you're like, whoa.
But that is a fine line of even like sharing experiences.
yeah.
Like we'll do so. Like even
This
like The
worked for
Rock.
me.
I already talked shit on The Rock. I'm sorry, Dwayne. Look, bro, we can still be friends. But I talk shit on The Rock and the other one. But yeah, he's
You're like a scorn lover with him, bro.
He's that guy too,
Yeah.
though. Like focus, and then he's got probably 10,000 calories worth of pancakes in front of him. He's like, work hard, smash hard. I'm like, yeah, man, work hard, smash hard. It
doesn't work that way,
Plus
yeah.
your testosterone, plus like plus everything else you're doing.
Exogenous testosterone
Yeah, it's a
that you're
little
taking.
different.
Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, it's a little different for the norms.
Yeah, your body composition is heavily aided.
There's
by,
no way he thinks all 10 million of his followers look like him.
Yeah.
You know, like if that was the case, sure.
He
Like you
meets the
said,
fan,
like,
he's like, what? He's like so confused.
why
They
are you
don't
so
look like him.
gross, dude?
Why are you like a foot shorter than me? And like,
Did you focus? Why are you so fat?
yeah,
Did you eat all of those pancakes?
That was a joke, dude.
man, Zach. Let me ask you this: where can people find you if they want to find out more about the flexible dieting lifestyle?
Yeah, so Instagram is the hub. Just search the Flexible Dieting Lifestyle. That's mainly where we point everybody towards, and then we direct everybody to our other platforms. YouTube is a growing platform for us. It's been really cool. We're taking it serious. We've taken it serious the last 9 months to a year. We're about to hit 50K, which is pretty cool. So we're gaining about 200-300 subscribers a day, which is dope. So it's a cool community. YouTube can be one of those communities that can be very toxic, but I can only imagine. But we got a lot of good vibes. One thing I've noticed is if you just put out good vibes, like you tend
to come back.
Yeah, they tend to come back. And whenever you mention one negative thing, they just all come.
Oh yeah,
So
like sharks.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy.
Smell the blood.
It's crazy.
Yeah, this is a whole other topic. One, but I'll say that I feel the direction of YouTube over the last few years has grown overall. Depends on, there's pockets of positivity, I would say, but I'd say overall more negative. I probably feel.
Well, that's how you get views.
Yeah.
That's how you get
Drama.
views, man. It's well, I mean, look at the people that grew. Look at the people that are leading these younger gen. It's
actually
scary.
sad.
Yeah.
It's very scary to see them as the face of our younger generation and how they conduct themselves.
Their fans are like 10.
Yeah,
that's bad.
and it's very, very scary. The lack of respect, the lack of we're trying to inspire the young. What are you teaching them?
Yeah.
What are you teaching them to be a maverick? What does
that even mean?
What does that mean? Like, are you teaching them to become better human beings that allow them to live a purposeful life, that allows them to grow to be great parents and lead another generation? Like, what are you teaching them? Are you just teaching them to rebel against the system?
Yeah.
What the hell does that even mean?
Yeah.
So that's just something that I'm super passionate about. That's something that in the future we will be navigating towards a lot of the younger generation, teaching kids how to cook, teaching them about nutrition. That's a huge thing
for
that
you,
we're
man.
very passionate about because it starts at the home. So, and I'll be short-winded with this, but we've understood that the market we want to serve are people who are currently parents or really want to be a parent and teach them about nutrition so then their kids can eat exactly what they're eating. And give them the tools in order to have their kids understand from an early stage in their life that nutrition is meant to work for you, not against you.
Yeah.
Because that's
Because your school's not going to teach you.
Love the message. People, check out Zach. I want to thank Zach for being on the podcast. This has been another episode of the Mama's Boys podcast every Tuesday and Friday on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube.
In your microwave, in your toaster oven,
We're right there.
right next to you.
Right in your
ear
earbuds.
holes.
In the ear holes. You could have said earbuds. You put it in
Holes.
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 All right, I understand. Make sure to leave a rating and review. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and leave a comment, like the damn video, and we'll see all of you in that next one. Bye.